Let me start over. That was a false start. Hello, spicy people, and welcome to the epic hot season finale episode of The Spice on the Hill, a dedicated podcast for Dulwich women under reserves when they're being a lot of good vibes, family informative, and a lot of spicy stuff with a kick. I'm your host, Johnny Hourigan, and this is episode number 8, and it is a season spicy review. We'll look back on the spiciest highs and the cooler lows, and which players from both teams, the first and the spicy reserves, have received their awards, and what new season will bring. More spicy than ever? We'll find out soon. Speaking of the spicy reserves, we got our first guest, who I know for a very long time, from a team I trained with, played for 6 years. A spicy reserves captain. Please welcome Emily Auld, Emily Auld, Emily Auld, pink and blue. Emily Auld, Emily Auld, Emily Auld lang syne. Emily Auld, just to clarify, it spells with A-U-L-D, not old as in O-L-D. Is that correct, Emily?
That's correct, yes.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Johnny. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, and so glad to have you on board. And are you looking forward to reviewing back what has happened?
Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for having us. No, I'm looking forward to it. I
Yes.
like the intro.
Oh, you're welcome. And let's introduce our second guest. Is the one who's been with the team for a very long time, back in AFC Phoenix heydays, and stood with the pink and blue after the merger in 2019, and stepped up to become the manager for the Spicy Reserves for the last few years. Please welcome the one and the only Helen Bellfield. Hello, Helen.
Hey, great to be. I'm slightly sad I don't have a song, but maybe next year. That's going to be my aim. Is
Yes, let's get you a new song.
not as good
I love
yet.
that song, Johnny.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
looking forward to hearing it next year.
Well, I'll ask the Spicy Reserves and the fans to make up some songs for you.
Well, hopefully we'll be on Champion Hill. Let's see Em scoring
Yeah.
up goals and see it sung.
So now we got our special guest in the firing hot seat, or the special season finale hot seats, metaphorically speaking and literally, as we'll explore in two halves, pun intended, but I'm going to make this slightly different. But in the first half, firstly, we will explore how did Emily and Helen began their journey in football, what did they do outside other than training, and what if they never fell in love with a bit of a game leading up to the season finale, and swiftly followed by talking about the only final game when the Spicy Reserves won superbly against AFC Greenwich. That's the first half. And in the second half, we'll looking at the end of the season awards, catch up for both teams in case people may not know who won player's player, manager's player, and the goal of the season, etc. And I'm going to do my fun shout out awards to give a good spicy twist before capping off on a high. Plus, what to expect next season, especially with Helen announcing a shift of positions that she would explain later on. So we're live on Mixler, and so anyone listening on there, you can ask me, Emily, or Helen, whichever questions you want to feel free to ask. And you want to listen back to this episode on available platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube of your choice, which one you're listening along with the previous 7 episodes, including another two-parter, if you have already caught up to date. Or is this your first time listening and want to know what happened across duration of the season? Listen back, and then you know what has been going on. As Aaron's favorite song, What's Up, from Four Non Blondes saying, What's going on? Before summer rolls around, before the World Cup begins. Anyone who looking forward to it? Say that thoughts for it until later on. So now, let's take a rewind back in time before the season to the earliest memories of Emily and Helen's beginnings of the journey after this advert, and hopefully it will be on cue for the award ceremony. Gong! Don't get it. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to the first final half as the whistle blows. We will now turn back time to the beginnings of Emily and Helen's journeys of where they all began. So, Emily, what made you fall in love with the beautiful game, and how do you manage between playing and coaching at the same time?
Yeah, just started playing football at my local village team, probably when I was about 10 or 11. My siblings were quite sporty, my parents were quite sporty, so we did like different sports. And then I think maybe end of primary school, I just played for my local village team. And yeah, I loved it, and I kept on playing through to now. So yeah, it was probably, I imagine how most people start. They just start quite locally. I think a lot of my friends in my class were on the same team. So yeah, it was really good fun.
Really fun. And how did you say find the pathway of how people get into playing football like for fun before some of them either take it as a casual hobby or some taking it as like a career path?
As in, I guess just as you get older, I mean, some people that as you play them, people go to different academies, and they kind of work their way through the system. So I think kind of naturally as you get older and you probably go into secondary school, people I guess people might get picked up by different teams, and they kind of get into the youth systems and the academy setups. I'd imagine that's probably how people do that.
And how do you find it from your perspective after when you first found about football, and how did it make you feel like beneficial, like when you play, and then also how did that help you like outside?
I think I just loved playing football as a child and now. So I think it probably gave me quite a lot of confidence because I loved doing it, and it was something that I felt like I could do. And I think now it's always been it always just gives you a social circle. At Dulwich, like as soon as I joined Dulwich, you have an immediate friendship group. So I think socially it's really nice because even as an adult, if you move to a new city and you join a football team, you kind of immediately get a group of friends. So I think as I kind of work and just play for fun, it's really nice to have that social aspect of it as you get older.
And how did you, how did you first heard about Dulwich Hamlet?
I think I was looking at trials in London a couple of years ago, and I think Dulwich, they have their open trials every year. I think Helen's probably going through now at the moment. So I was just someone that came to trial a couple of years ago. I think it's just open to the public. So I'm sure that's probably how a lot of the girls have got into it and kind of just show up and play some matches and do some training.
And did you pick the reserves, or was it either when Brian, Dempsey, or Helen were like in charge of respective teams made you choose of which teams you want to join?
I think when I trialed it was like open trials for the first team and the reserves. And I think, yeah, Helen, it was suggested that I trained and went to the reserves. So I kind of followed that path, which I'm glad I did because I've really enjoyed it there since.
Nice. And in case people listening out there don't know about how I know Emily very well, as I explained in the early bit, where she coaches for my other team based in Southwark, which I've been with for the last 6 years. How did you heard about the other team that I first met you?
Suffolk Stars, I think quite similar. I found online that they were looking for volunteers maybe after COVID when I moved back to London, and I was just looking. I hadn't really been playing much football or involved in football, so I was looking to get back and do something in football. So I thought Suffolk Stars was a really good place to start, and I think I just came back down and met Louis, who's the founder of Suffolk Stars, and met Johnny and all of Johnny's teammates, and I love it, and I love going down there.
Yeah, that's how I first met Emily in that team before I even bumped into her now that she plays for the Spice Reserves. And honestly, if it's a small world to see familiar faces now playing for the pink and blue, isn't it?
Yeah, I think especially in women's football in London, it's quite small, isn't it? So yeah, you probably come across people from different teams, which is really nice.
Especially like sometimes even some people from that team even come along and watch you whenever they get a chance.
I know the last game of the season, there was quite a few of you guys, which was amazing.
Yeah,
I think I could hear you the whole game, which was so nice.
because I loved like, cheering on for everyone to get you
Yeah.
back in all the way to make sure you all cap off on a big win that you all deserved.
Yeah, no, that was a great day. I love that.
So that's people. Now you know how I know about Emily through a small world connection that we know not far from Champion Hill. And now, Helen, you have played for Dulwich Hamlet women's team long before it was called AFC Phoenix. And how did you first heard about them playing alongside with Britt and Lucy, for instance, before you?
I came before Britt and Lucy. I'm the one of
Oh,
the original.
really? You were
Yeah,
before Britt and Lucy?
before Britt and Lucy. Yeah, I remember them both joining. So yeah, in 2014, I moved to similar to Emily. I moved to London. Um, was traveling quite a lot for work, so I just googled South London teams, and AFC Phoenix came up. Went to trials with them on Clapham Common is where we played. Yeah, we've come a long way. We used to train on like a four-a-side pitch in like near Tooting, and it had like a piece of metal in the middle. Definitely 2G. Both teams trained on it, and after like an hour and a quarter, because it was like 25 people on a four-a-side pitch, after an hour and a quarter, like half the team would go home, and we'd just rotate who stayed to play the game 7v7. So yeah, sometimes now,
Seriously.
yeah, when people are like, "Oh, we need a bit more equipment," I'm like, "You guys have no idea what we used to do." But yeah, that was 2014 I started. But to start with, I was traveling quite a lot. So I played with the AFC Phoenix Reserves because I was sort of away for 3 weeks, here for a week. And then 2016, I got a little bit more serious and was like, okay, I'm going to commit and play a bit more football. And then, yeah, Brit, I think she was one of our first Americans. And then we had quite a few players come from the US, which was great. Followed by Lucy. So yeah, it's been super nice to play for, yeah, I guess quite a few seasons before then Dulwich came calling. So yeah, that was my story.
Wow. Instantly, I did knew someone had told me like Ian and some other players that you have been with them for a very long time. Long I knew like who you were, and when after AOC Phoenix merged with Dulwich Hamlet in 2019, what was that moment when that was a moment when the team started to step up?
Yeah, I guess there was two moments really. One was when they asked us what we wanted, and we were like, maybe some free beer, and they were like, no, 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 we're talking about like facilities and coaches, and like we were like, oh, like
Yeah.
we're like, this is more than we expected. No, so I think yeah, Brit and a few others like Zoe Elmore put quite a lot into the merge, and Lucy and they led a little workforce. So I think the rest of us were a little bit, yeah, we had very low expectations. I think for our side it was important the whole club came across, the reserve team and the women's. But yeah, I remember we played our last game of the season in our AFC Phoenix kit at Champion Hill. That was the first time it sort of felt real because we were like, oh my God, we're in a stadium for the first time. Normally we played in front of like, I don't know, like 10 sort of family, friends, partners and dogs. So it was a bit of a shock to be playing at Champion Hill. And yeah, so we played the last game of the season in our sort of, still as AFC Phoenix, but that was the first time we sort of had proper fans and got a sense of the club and the community. And then, yeah, it grew from there. It was also quite, I guess at the time, our manager, Farouk, had been managers for AFC Phoenix for many, many years. You know, sadly, he passed away from cancer that year, so that he was taking over. You know, Ryan was sort of transitioning in. So it was, yeah, there's still, if you go to Dulwich, there's a nice sort of mural of Farouk on the wall, which is nice. Every time I go and play there, it's nice to see that and that he's still remembered because he was a massive part of the club. I remember he used to buy us, like we had no kit, like, you know, we had a broken chair was our like level of training ability to like replace mannequins. You know, he would buy all the cones, all the bibs, like, so we had matching training kit. He would buy us like a blue t-shirt, so we all had the same blue t-shirt at the beginning of the year. Yeah, and then he'd been sort of quite sick for quite a while, and we'd sort of subbed in, and you know, Elmore and others had really tried to, yeah, sort of help him, look after him and his two sort of kids. So yeah, it was quite special to see that, you know, even Dulwich took him into his heart and he's sort of remembered there. And yeah, his kids have seen it and been back, so that was quite nice. But yeah, he inspired, I think, most of that AFC Phoenix team. So it's nice that they, yeah, still come back occasionally, and there's still the group chat of the old team, and we all, you know, still share those memories. So it's nice that, yeah, the community club that he sort of was built and at the core of has sort of now come into something, yeah. So it's nice to think that he'd be very proud of his legacy to see the club now.
And I remember Bri and Lucy explained that in the episode before Christmas, how Fragmonia used to tell all of you, or especially you, Helen, when you go out and play, he says in the broken phrases of English saying play spicy football. It's been cemented.
Exactly, so that's where spicy came from, was used to be spicy. He also used to shout at me quite a lot in warm-ups because I'm not a very good warm-ups. Now when I coach, I hear in the moment he used to be like, Helen, because I was like dragging at the back. And so yeah, it makes me laugh now that he would find it amazing that I coached because I was like one of the worst warm-uppers I think there was possible. So yeah, he would find it quite fun. I think of all people, he'd be like, really, you're the one who actually took up coaching? Yeah, it's makes me laugh. But yeah, be spicy was one of his things. Also, salmon pasta bake before games, orange juice, one biscuit. I'm not sure if there's any logic there, but that was his that was his pre-match instructions. So yeah,
one biscuit.
Yeah, and jonglei was juggle as well. That was one of our favourites. Jonglei, French English version of when we juggling.
Yeah. Where was Farouk from, Helen?
So he moved, when did he move to London? He came, I can't remember, he's working as a chef. Quite
really?
But yeah, he came across.
It's nice how the spicy legacy has really...
Yeah, it's really shaped, so...
yeah,
it was cool.
I guess...
Yeah, it's very nice to the club still, so...
I guess that's probably how you might have picked up some cooking phrases and saying, you know, play spicy. And then, well, speaking of something like a chef would do as a job, now I can ask you two about what jobs do you do outside football? Emily, what do you do when you're not playing with AC? Well, sorry. Oh, when I got AC Phoenix from, sorry, that's my mistake. Sorry. So what do you do when you're not playing with Dulwich Hamlet reserves, and you're not coaching with Suffolk Stars like with me and the other players, what do you do outside of that?
Yes, I'm an accountant, so not football related at all. So I'm just in an office Monday till Friday. Sounds relatively boring, but I actually quite like it. Yeah, so just an office job, Johnny, not football.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be related to football because, you know, people have different variety of tastes. Like, we got teachers, we got doctors, we got I don't know how you say this, people working in corporate events for football clubs like Aaron does.
Yeah, it's one
And
of the favourite things I like about football is that, because yeah, as Emma said, it's quite hard to meet new people when you move to a city, but also I think to meet diverse people outside of your, like what you do. So I think it's a nice thing about football that everyone's equal and that, yeah, on the pitch and that you get a group who, have got all sorts of different backgrounds and experiences. So it feels like a nice thing about the football family is that it is quite, yeah, people do all sorts and come from lots of different backgrounds and experiences.
and Emily, how many days do you work as an accountant?
So 5 days, Monday to Friday, and then I'll do football at the weekend.
Nice. And
Mhm.
what company do you work for as an accountant?
It's a law firm, so I don't know if you'd know the actual name, but it's a law firm. They're in Chancery Lane, so it's about 20-minute bike ride to Dulwich, so it's not too bad getting to training.
Nice. And do you enjoy that job?
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I think it is nice not having a job in football because then when you do it, it's just a hobby and something that you enjoy on the side. So it's kind of a nice getaway, like on a Wednesday and at the weekend to go and do something, not at a desk and just running around. So I like the variety of my job, but then also having football, which I also love on the side. So yeah, I think it's a good combination.
I totally agree. I do other jobs that's not football related, and I enjoy them because it's the way we thrive and survive during the week, and then you enjoy something what you like to do afterwards for the weekends. And honestly, I mean, as an accountant, I mean, I haven't heard from anybody who has other jobs like something like particularly involved in football or something maybe not. But it's nice to hear the variety of like what everyone does. And being an accountant for the law firm, it's really, really interesting to hear coming from you, Emily.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we have quite a variety of. I'm always interested in hearing about people's jobs on the team because we've got such a variety of different professional backgrounds. So it is quite interesting who we've got.
Yeah. And now I want to ask you, Helen, what do you do outside of Dulwich Hamlet when you're not coaching or planning tactics?
Well, so it could be a new start for me this time, more free time. So I coach, I coach kids and girls United on the side, so that's some of my time. But otherwise, yeah, I guess yeah, generally active, hiking, running, quite like an art gallery, other bits. But yeah, I'm looking forward to a bit more free time to go cycling and hiking occasionally. But yeah, otherwise, just enjoying London life.
And did you mention that you coach for the a young girls team outside?
Yeah, just similar to what Emily does at Southwark Stars, just a sessional coach for Girls United. So it's their play like a girl sort of introduction to football sort of sessions. So no skill needed, just enthusiasm. So it's a nice session on Sunday morning. So yeah, if we're playing at home, I go coach for kids in the morning on Peckham Rye, and then come across for the game. And then yeah, Friday evenings I coach at another session. So it's nice to do. Very different from adults football, but yeah, it's fun.
And how long have you been working with them?
4 years, I think. So that's what got me into coaching. So Ryan Dempsey was at Girls United. And then Abby, who was his assistant for a little bit, is their sort of London lead. So I started coaching at Girls United, doing sessions there, and that's when Dulwich Reserves lost their manager, having just been reinstated. So I was like, oh no, I better step in as a so I think I was the only one who did any coaching. So I was like, right, I'll step in and do that until we find another manager. So that's how it started.
Actually, that's something I forgot to ask, like, before this question. Like, since when, after you hanged up your boots playing for Dulwich Hamlet, I mean, what happened in between before this opportunity with Girls United made you got into coaching before you coaching with the reserves now? What,
Yeah,
as
I
of,
think I saw that I was getting a bit slower, so I thought like, okay, I've only got a few years left because speed had definitely gone downhill. So I thought that's why I started coaching for the kids just to see if I'd enjoy it. So I'd done that for a few years, and then so I was actually playing at the time and planning to play, but then I put myself on the bench for the first game as coach manager, and I was like, I can't, it's too stressful. Like coaching manager. Playing was too much, and we had a good enough team. We came third that year, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna hang my boots up for at least this season or until we get a new manager. And then I had foot surgery, so that delayed it. And I don't miss playing actually. I miss the old five-a-side. I quite enjoy jumping in occasionally at training, but I don't miss 11-a-side. So yeah, I never sort of got back into it, having not. But yeah, no, at the time it was a bit of a topsy-turvy, so we sort of got reinstated, the club backed us, and then our manager moved to another team. Like, I think it was like 2 weeks before the start of the season. So then it was just like, emergency sort of step in, and make sure that it happened. So yeah, because it would have been a real shame not to have, having sort of got the club's backing to then not have a manager would have been a bit of a disaster. So but it was nice. Everyone was super supportive. Like, yeah, everyone, the whole team sort of stepped up and supported and were, sort of made it work together. So it was sort of a bit of a learning journey for all of us. But yeah, it was good.
and Helen, how much do you like? Obviously, I know you have coached with the reserves for like a few years, and before we will talk about later about your switch of positions with Girls United that you coach outside when Dulwich Hamlet on training or you're planning tactics. How much do you love like getting the young girls to step into loving football as a something like fun before either of them like say pursue as a serious career opportunity or like just play like for fun.
Yeah, I see. But yeah, it's really important because I think even now it's kind of crazy. I mean, it's so different from when it's gonna make me sound really old, but like watching the kids now, like the level of like coaching and the age that they start going to academies is quite young. So it's super nice to see kids just playing for fun and just enjoying it and to see where they can go. And some of them, yeah, just the confidence they get from doing something well, enjoying it, and for some kids that might just be at the end of, improving, to be able to kick the ball properly, to score their first goal, even in a fun session. Like it doesn't need to be sort of, yeah, being top, being the best player or being able to do skills. It's more about, sort of learning and improving, and having fun while they're doing it. So yeah, we focus a lot on life skills as well, because I think football gives kids a lot in terms of like learning a bit of resilience, because you lose at football a lot, so it's good to learn good to learn resilience. You have to do loads of communication, lots of leadership, so it's quite a nice way to also teach kids other skills. So yeah, I quite enjoy that side of it as well, and seeing kids, even if they're not great at football, they learn, they become really confident, they're much better at sort of, they can thrive in a group, they're happy, they're much more come out their shells. So that's quite nice. So yeah, I like doing that.
And now, well, obviously I was going to say last bit is it's very important to step into the beautiful game, which my next point would be to ask you two is if you have not stepped into football, what would you be doing right now, Emily?
Probably, I guess I wouldn't be, I guess because it's not my actual job, football, I don't know how different my career would have been. But I suppose my my social circle would probably be a lot different. I'll be a lot less active, probably have less fun on the weekends, less people to hang out with. So I think as you're working in London, you have something that you enjoy so much on the side. Yeah, it really kind of gives you like a really nice balance in life. So I think I'm a lot happier for doing it, which is nice.
Yeah. And Emily, sorry, I've already asked you a question, Emily. Helen, have you thought of that same question when you thought, if you have not stepped into the beautiful game of football, how that would be different if you have not heard of AFC Phoenix?
Yeah, I guess similar to Emily, really, because I've got another full-time job out of this, so that would probably be similar. I'd probably play more cricket, to be honest, because I used to play.
Really?
Yeah, I used to play cricket in summer and football in winter, but they overlap quite a bit. So then I picked football as like I guess cricket takes a long time, right? It's like a full day outing. So I was like, okay, football's a more fun social life than cricket and less time, less time requirements on a Sunday. Because yeah, cricket is like, yeah, it's like each innings was like 4 hours. You have a whole lunch in between, like tea, you have to
Gosh.
pack. Yeah, like one of you's on sandwiches, one of you's on cakes, one of you, it's like a whole operation. So yeah, but I think I'd do that if I didn't have football. Um, so yeah, that would probably be my different sport.
I guess, Helen, if you have not heard of football, have not got into football, I think that would be very different, that you wouldn't be in the coach for the reserves and like in the long run. That would be different.
Yeah, I mean, small moments, right? I guess. I'm sure, yeah. I don't know. It feels like, yeah. I mean, there's enough people I think who come to AFC Phoenix that would make it work. But yeah, I did feel at the time it was a bit of a moment where we could have lost the reserves. So it was good to fight for them, and it's been great that they've thrived. I think, yeah, and the club. I mean, for me, it's been really cool to see how we've gone from the reserves maybe not existing to now the reserves playing at Champion Hill, the club being super supportive, like seeing loads of reserve players go and play for the first team. And I'm sure that will continue. Like, yeah, it's very cool how it's sort of transformed from sort of not sure we need a reserve team to actually being like a fundamental part of the club. So that's been a very nice journey to see.
Well, I can honestly say for everyone that one particular moment of football have really had significant impact on everyone. Like if it wasn't for football, it would have impacted of how your socials or the opportunities that helped and shaped our, what is it, not the whole your life, but it's more on the side what you love to do if you want to like, other than working during the week, but you can still enjoy like with football to feel, just get yourself let out, either
Total,
playing or
yeah.
coaching.
Total release on a way. Yeah, it's great. It is fun. And sometimes, yeah, if you've had a hard day at work, go to training, you're like, oh, I'm going to switch on this brain. But yeah, you always come out of training having enjoyed it, and it gives you that sort of, yeah, I think it's very good for mental health as well, just to have that blast of release and different friends, different environment as well, right, where you can just go and enjoy.
Or, as my friend Saskia would do, just unleash your anger and throw some dodgeball. That's for Saskia listening back there. Now, moving on from the past and the worst scenario to the present, where the Spurs Reserves have played its final game of the Laser Waffle League against AFC Greenwich, and the score was 4-2. At first glance, the visitors were going to get away with murder, but goals from Emily, this Emily right here, with Big Shacks with 2 goals and Hannah Lee's respectively capped off the ending of the season with a big win. Emily, how did you describe that final game? And what was that solo run that you equalized initially? What was going through in your mind?
Yeah, no, that game was. I think whenever we play at Champion Hill, like the girls and the atmosphere, everyone just feels so up for it, and it just feels. I think it felt like a really big game because I think we played there in the cup semi-final last year, and which obviously was like a knockout. I don't know if there was any consequence of the game, but it did still feel like a really big one. I think just the occasion everyone really enjoys. So I think we went down in the first. Was it the first couple of minutes? I think that was a bit scary to begin with. But yeah, I think we played really well. I think we always play well at Champion Hill. It's a lot bigger pitch than we used to, and it's a lot cleaner of pitch. And I think that plays to our qualities of being able to keep the ball. And yeah, I think everyone performed really well, and I think we kind of ended on a high, and everyone was quite high spirits after. So it was a really good day.
Yeah, it was a really good day, and you have heard me from the back when I shout. When you did a solo run, I saw the moment when you're like, come on, Emily," and I was like, "Yay!" I mean, you have heard me like shouting from afar, but I know there's other people shouting. But was I the loudest, or there
Yes,
was a
by
few?
far, definitely the loudest.
Okay, it looks like you definitely heard my voice, and that probably you got jumped up with the adrenaline feeling to get this final game to cap off rather than end it in a whimper.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, totally, totally. And Helen, nice to cap off the final game on the Sunday and the final game to get double booked. I mean, what really happened? I didn't see what was the first booking. On I know the second one, you touched the ball when as
Yeah.
soon as it was about to go out of play, but other than the double booking, how do you describe the final game?
So double booking.
Nah, vinegar. I'll explain. But
Okay, sorry.
um, yeah, it was great. I mean, I think like we went behind twice. So it was great to have a bit of fighting spirit to get back and win it. There's a few nerves, I think Ben would say on the sideline, but I think we earned the win, and I think we always had confidence we would. I think we were trying out, yeah, a sort of a low block to start with that we maybe struggled in the first 10 minutes just to get our heads round, and then once we did that, and yeah, I think M's goal was critical in just getting the nerves off the table, right, getting the crowd going, and then yeah, I think once that went in, we were sort of quite confident that more goals would follow. So yeah, it was great, and like getting a record crowd, 300 odd people, it was amazing to have, yeah, Sonic Stars there, to have Girls United there for me. It was super nice just to have, yeah, so many people down and supporting the team. And it's nice to put on a show as well, because yeah, I think it was a wild game of football. I think their management said it could have been like 8-3 or 6. It was just one of those games where there could have been a lot more goals from both teams. So yeah, I think we entertained the crowd. Yeah, as Em said, the team loves playing there, put on a bit of a show. So yeah, it was a great day out in the sunshine. So
And
yeah, enjoyed it.
you know what I noticed, Helen, is that, after now senior games more than last season, is that I knew the reserves with Emily are more prone to fight back in certain or different kind of situations when you are a goal down or two before you turned it around to get everyone to reach the finish line. And I know the games that I have seen, either we win or we may not be lucky in some few of the games, but I would say regardless that this game I know was something that I love to see, a fighting spirit in that final game. And you must have felt from everyone how it really meant to cap off the final game.
Yeah, I think so. I think for some players it might be their last game. Who knows for the club? So everyone just wants to put on a show in front of friends and family. But yeah, I think obviously everyone runs. I mean, like, God knows how far you run in the game, but I think it always helps to have that engine in the middle. It makes a big difference having, because I think everyone else knows that they also need to run. I think if you've got a player who's putting it about and yeah, and pressing and chasing everything down, then it's kind of contagious, I think, for the rest of the team. I think it's one of those things. We saw it last year also with Steph and them together, having players, who were putting in the hard yards. It just helps lift the entire team, really, and it also scares the opposition, right? If they've got someone who's going to be pressing them, so it gets us up the pitch. So yeah, it's midfield engine. It's nice to have Em back. She's been injured for a lot of the season, so we benefited from having her back in the last few games, and hopefully next season, you've earned a clean bill of health for a year. So fingers crossed. Yeah, touch wood on that. And then on the bookings, just to clear up, the first one was a booking for, I think Minnie got booked because was it Minnie or Phoebe? One of them got booked, but I think it was Minnie because the ref said that she could come straight back on and waved her on, and then seemed to forget that he waved her on. And then we're like, come on, it'll be like 2 minutes. Then we sent her on, but of course at that moment the ball got played straight to her, which it was a dead giveaway. So the ref was like, no, absolutely not, yellow card. But I didn't get booked, she got booked. So the player, it was my fault. The player got, yeah. So, and then the second one, I got too excited. I still don't think I was on the pitch, but I think Ben probably says I was. But I just got too excited. Although the ref afterwards said it was a red card offence, so I got lucky with it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, who knew about that? Yeah, I got away with that. Can you imagine?
That's so funny.
I was sent off in my final game at Champion Hill. But yeah, no, luckily, luckily common sense. Also, because the touchlines were like, do you remember they were like thick, chalky, like no one could even see where the touchline was. So it was like, come on.
I don't see the dugout that much, but
no, and luckily you can't see anything on the video, so no one will know if I'm ever on the pitch. That'll stay a secret. So
I think it was like one of the last couple of minutes, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the last 10.
Yeah, I think even their players were like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it does feel a bit like that. Yeah. So no, it was a great game. Yeah, it was.
It was good.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and honestly, we got that analysis of the game that now after we look at the early lives, the life outside of football, and the what if of no football, that will probably never ever happen, and especially the final game we have discussed. So now let's go into the second half to look at the end of the season awards highlights to find out which player won what. I will give out my special shout out of fun awards that I have came up with before concluding the season with a big what if, a question, what will the new season will bring. So see you after this advert, or the second part, so depending if you're listening. And I might do something you have to tune in for this one. So let's go.